The airport security guards were running toward Gate 27 when Claire Peterson's voice reached its highest pitch yet. "He's stealing my laptop," she screamed, her face red and twisted with anger. "That black man right there took it from my bag. I saw him. Arrest him now." Every head in the crowded terminal turned. Conversation stopped mid-sentence. Children froze with pretzels halfway to their mouths. The entire gate area fell silent, except for the sound of Claire's heavy breathing and the squeaking of the security guard's shoes against the polished floor. Isaac Powell stood perfectly still near the charging station, his carry-on bag at his feet, his phone in one hand. His dark suit was crisp and professional. His face was calm, but his jaw was tight. He had been in situations like this before, but it never got easier. "Ma'am, please calm down," said the first security guard, a tall man with a thick mustache. His hand rested on his belt, near his radio. "Can you describe what happened?" Claire pointed a shaking finger at Isaac. Her blonde hair was pulled back, so tightly it made her eyes look stretched. "I was sitting right there, charging my phone, and I turned around for 1 second to check the departure board. When I looked back, my laptop was gone, and he was standing there." Isaac slowly raised both hands, showing he was holding nothing but his phone. "Officer, I just walked over here 30 seconds ago to charge my phone. I haven't touched anyone's laptop." "He's lying." Claire shrieked. She turned to the crowd that had gathered. "You all see what's happening, right? He thinks he can just take whatever he wants. These people always think they can get away with it." A cold chill ran through the crowd. Some people looked away uncomfortably. Others pulled out their phones and started recording. Isaac's hands were still raised, but something flickered in his eyes. Something dangerous and controlled. "These people," he repeated quietly. The second security guard, a younger woman with dark hair pulled into a tight bun, stepped forward. "Sir, I'm going to need to search your bag. It's just procedure." "Of course," Isaac said, his voice steady. He didn't move to lower his hands yet. "But I want to be very clear about what's happening here. This woman is accusing me of theft based on nothing but her assumptions." He was standing right there. Claire insisted. She turned to a businessman sitting nearby, a white man in an expensive coat. "You saw him, didn't you? Tell them." The businessman shifted uncomfortably. I was working on my own laptop. I didn't really see." "This is unbelievable." Claire cut him off. She looked at the security guards with wild eyes. "Why are you even asking questions? Just arrest him. Search him. He probably already passed it to someone else. They work in groups, you know?" More phones came out. More people started recording. Isaac's calm expression didn't change, but his shoulders straightened. He was taller than both security guards, and when he stood his full height, there was something commanding about him, something that made even the guards pause. "Ma'am," the female guard said to Claire, "did you actually see him take a laptop, or did you just notice it was gone when he was nearby?" "What does it matter?" Claire's voice was getting louder again. "Who else could have taken it? Look around. He's the only one who—" She stopped herself, but everyone knew what she was about to say. The airport terminal felt like it was holding its breath. Parents covered their children's ears. An elderly couple whispered to each other nervously. A teenage girl with purple hair kept her phone camera trained on Isaac's face, capturing every moment. Isaac slowly lowered his hands. "I'm going to reach into my jacket pocket now," he announced clearly, making sure the guards could see his every movement. "Slowly. I'm going to get my identification." "Keep your hands where we can see them," the mustached guard said sharply, his hand moving closer to his belt. "I am," Isaac said, his voice still calm but carrying an edge now. "I'm going to show you exactly who I am, and then we're going to have a very different conversation about what's happening here." Claire's eyes narrowed. "I don't care who you think you are. You're a thief. Don't let him distract you with some fake ID. He probably has a whole wallet full of stolen credit cards." Isaac's hand moved to his inside jacket pocket in slow motion. The crowd leaned forward. The security guards tensed. Claire crossed her arms triumphantly, certain she was about to be proven right. Isaac pulled out a black leather wallet. He flipped it open, and Claire Peterson's face went completely white. The badge gleamed under the harsh airport lights. Gold and official. Unmistakable. "My name is Special Agent Isaac Powell," he said, his voice cutting through the silence like a knife. "Federal Bureau of Investigation. And before we continue this conversation about your missing laptop, we need to talk about something else first." The female security guard's mouth fell open. The mustache guard took a step back. And Claire looked like she might faint. But Isaac wasn't done. "Because here's the interesting thing," he continued, his eyes locked on Claire's face. "I've been watching you since you sat down at this gate 45 minutes ago. And I've seen some very, very curious behavior." Claire's face somehow went even paler. "What were you talking about?" Isaac took one step forward. Just one. But it was enough to make Claire stumble backward. "The 3 phone calls you made in the last half hour," Isaac said softly, dangerously. "The way you kept looking over your shoulder. The envelope you received from that man in the blue jacket who walked away 7 minutes ago. The same man whose photo we've had on a watch list for the past 6 months. The crowd gasped. Even the security guards looked shocked. Claire's mouth opened and closed like a fish. That's not, you can't. And your laptop? Isaac's smile was cold. "I'm willing to bet it's in that trash can directly behind you. The one you walked past twice in the last 10 minutes. The one you kept glancing at when you thought no one was looking. Every eye turned to the large gray trash can near the wall." The female security guard immediately walked over to it. She pulled out the top layer of paper cups and napkins. And there, sitting on top of a pile of newspapers, was a silver laptop. Claire's face crumbled. The color drained from her cheeks completely. Her hands started shaking. "No," she whispered. "No, no, no." "You created a distraction," Isaac said, his voice hard now. "A scene. You were going to let them search me, question me, tie up security's attention while your associate in the blue jacket cleared to the checkpoint with, what? Fake documents? Smuggled goods? What exactly are you two moving through this airport, Miss Peterson?" Claire's legs seemed to give out. She grabbed onto a nearby chair for support. The mustache security guard immediately reached for his radio. "This is Security Team Delta. I need backup at Gate 27 immediately. We have a situation." The crowd erupted in whispers. Phones were everywhere now, all recording, all capturing the moment when everything flipped upside down. "Wait," someone in the crowd said. "She tried to frame him? She accused him of stealing her own laptop." "She's a criminal," someone else shouted. Claire looked around desperately, her eyes wild, searching for an escape route. But security guards were already moving in from both sides. The exits were blocked. Passengers had formed a wall. All of them wanted to see what happened next. Isaac stood perfectly still, his FBI badge still visible in his hand, his eyes never leaving Claire's face. "Here's what's going to happen now," he said quietly. "You're going to sit down in that chair. You're not going to move. You're not going to make a phone call. And you're going to wait very patiently while I explain to these security officers exactly what kind of investigation you just walked into." Claire sank into the chair, her whole body trembling. But just as Isaac turned to speak to the security guards, his phone buzzed. He glanced at the screen, and his entire expression changed. His jaw tightened. His eyes went dark. He looked up at the security guards. "Lock down this gate. Now! Don't let anyone leave." "What?" the mustache guard said. "Why?" Isaac's voice was sharp and urgent. "Because the man in the blue jacket didn't go through security. He went to the parking garage. And according to the message I just received," he paused, his face grim, "he's not carrying documents or smuggled goods. He's carrying something much worse. The parking garage." Those 2 words hung in the air like a bomb waiting to explode. Isaac was already moving. His phone pressed his ear. His long strides carried him away from Gate 27. The security guards scrambled to follow him, speaking rapidly into their radios. Claire sat frozen in her chair, forgotten for the moment as something much bigger unfolded. How long ago? Isaac barked into his phone. "For minutes? Get every exit covered now. I want airport police, TSA, everyone. And get me building schematics for the parking structure." Behind him, the crowd at Gate 27 buzzed with confused energy. Nobody knew what was happening, but everyone could feel that something terrible was building. Parents pulled their children closer. Business travelers clutched their bags tighter. The teenage girl with purple hair kept filming, her hands shaking. The female security guard stayed behind with Claire, while her partner ran after Isaac. Agent Powell, wait. What's in the parking garage? What are we dealing with? Isaac didn't slow down. He was already at the terminal's main corridor, weaving between travelers who jumped out his way. The man in the blue jacket. His name is Marcus Brennan. Small-time smuggler, mostly fake passports and stolen goods. But 3 weeks ago, he made contact with someone new. Someone we've been tracking for 8 months. Who? The guard panted, struggling to keep up. Vincent Torres, suspected arms dealer. We thought he was moving weapons to buyers overseas, but we couldn't prove it. Isaac's jaw was tight. Until today. My team has been watching Torres's network. When Brennan showed up on our radar meeting with Claire Peterson, we knew something was happening. But we thought it was documents. Identity papers for Torres to skip the country. They burst through a security door marked, "Authorized personnel only." The stairwell echoed with their footsteps. "So what changed?" the guard asked. Isaac's phone buzzed again. He looked at the screen, and his face went pale. "Everything. My partner just sent me thermal imaging from the garage. Brennan's car. There's something in the trunk. Something hot, electronically active, and about the size of..." An explosion rocked the building. Not a big one. Not the kind that brings down walls or shatters glass, but enough to make the floor tremble, enough to make the lights flicker, enough to send a wave of screams echoing through the terminal. Isaac grabbed the stairwell railing. That came from below us. Level 2 parking. His phone rang. He answered immediately. "Talk to me, Marcus." A different voice came through, younger and urgent. "Isaac, we got a situation." Brennan triggered something. There was a small explosion in the northeast corner of Level 2. Some kind of incendiary device. Started a fire to create a distraction. Casualties: 2 cars damaged, minor injuries to a parking attendant. Fire suppression systems kicked in, but Isaac, he's running. Surveillance shows him heading toward the rental car area, and he's carrying something. A metal case. Isaac swore under his breath and started running faster. The security guards struggled to keep up. They burst out onto Level 2 of the parking garage. The smell of smoke hit them immediately. In the distance, flames licked up from between 2 cars. Sprinklers rained down from the ceiling. People were running, confused and terrified, unsure whether to evacuate or shelter in place. "Everyone stay calm," the security guard shouted, but his voice was lost in the chaos. Isaac scanned the area with practiced eyes. The parking garage was a maze of concrete pillars and shadows. Cars everywhere. Too many places to hide. Too many exits. His phone buzzed with a text. A photo appeared on his screen. A grainy surveillance image of Marcus Brennan. A thin man with a scraggly beard and a blue jacket, running between cars with a silver metal case clutched to his chest. Timestamp: 23 seconds ago. "He's close," Isaac muttered. He turned to the security guard. "Do you have a weapon?" The guard nodded, his hand on his belt. "Taser. But I'm not authorized to." "If I tell you to use it, you use it." "Understood." The guard swallowed hard. "What's in that case?" Isaac didn't answer. He was already moving between the cars, his own weapon now drawn from a holster under his jacket. The gun looked heavy and serious in his hand. The parking garage was full of sounds. Car alarms wailing, sprinklers hissing, people shouting. Isaac filtered through them all, listening for something else. Footsteps, breathing, the metallic clink of a case being set down. There, behind a white SUV, 30 feet away, Isaac saw movement. Just a shadow, just a flicker of a blue jacket disappearing behind a concrete pillar. He raised his weapon. "Marcus Brennan, FBI, show me your hands." The response was immediate. 3 gunshots cracked through the air. Isaac dug behind a car as bullets sparked off the concrete, where he'd been standing. The security guard hit the ground, his face white with terror. "He's shooting at us!" The guard gasped. "He's actually shooting." More screams erupted through the garage as civilians realized what was happening. People abandoned their cars and ran for the exits. A woman tripped and fell, her purse spilling across the concrete. A man grabbed his daughter and carried her away, sprinting toward the stairwell. Isaac's phone buzzed again. Another text from his partner. SWAT 8 minutes out. Airport police mobilizing. Do not engage alone. But 8 minutes was an eternity. 8 minutes was enough time for Brennan to disappear into the city. 8 minutes was enough time for whatever was in that case to be delivered to its buyer. 8 minutes was too long. Isaac made his decision. He rose from behind the car and fired twice. Not at Brennan, but at the pillar he was hiding behind. The bullets ricocheted with a sharp whine, forcing Brennan to move. And when he moved, Isaac saw him clearly for the first time. Marcus Brennan looked nothing like a dangerous criminal. He was thin and nervous-looking, with greasy hair and a patchy beard. His blue jacket was old and stained. He looked like someone's down-on-his-luck uncle, not an armed smuggler. But the gun in his hand was very real, and the case at his feet was very real, and the wild desperation in his eyes was very, very real. "It's over, Marcus," Isaac shouted. "There's nowhere to go. The exits are sealed. SWAT is coming. Put down the weapon and step away from the case." Marcus laughed. A high, panicked sound that echoed through the garage. You don't understand. You don't understand what happens if I don't deliver this. Then help me understand." Isaac moved closer, using the cars for cover. "Talk to me. What's in the case?" "I can't tell you that. They'll kill me. They'll kill my sister." Marcus's voice cracked. "You think I want to be here? You think I wanted any of this?" Isaac paused. His sister? That was new information. Something his team hadn't uncovered. "Your sister?" Isaac called out. "Who has your sister, Marcus?" "Torres. Vincent Torres has her." The desperation in Marcus's voice was genuine. He said if I didn't pick up the case from Claire and deliver it to the buyer, he'd. Marcus couldn't finish the sentence. The security guard whispered to Isaac, "Is he telling the truth?" Isaac's mind raced. If Torres really had Marcus's sister, then Marcus wasn't the main player here. He was a victim too. A man forced into a terrible situation. But that didn't change what was in the case. "Marcus, listen to me," Isaac said, his voice calmer now. "If Torres has your sister, then we can help. The FBI can protect her. But you have to put down that gun and tell me what's in the case. Right now." "I can't." Marcus was crying now, his gun hand shaking. "If I tell you, if I give you the case, he'll know. He has people everywhere. He'll find out and he'll..." Another sound cut through the garage. A car engine. Close. Getting closer. Isaac spun around just as a black sedan came screaming around the corner, tires squealing on the concrete. It was driving fast, too fast for a parking garage, heading straight toward them. "Get down!" Isaac shouted, but the car wasn't aiming for Isaac. It was aiming for Marcus Brennan. Marcus saw it too late. His eyes went wide. He tried to run, but his foot caught on the metal case. He stumbled. The car's engine roared louder. Isaac made a split-second decision, one that would change everything. He ran, not away from the car, toward Marcus. He covered the distance in seconds, his long legs eating up the space between them. The black sedan was 20 feet away. 15. 10. Isaac hit Marcus like a linebacker, tackling him away from the case and rolling them both behind a concrete pillar. The black sedan screeched to a stop exactly where Marcus had been standing. The driver's door opened, and Vincent Torres stepped out. He was younger than Isaac expected, maybe 35, well-dressed in an expensive suit. His dark hair was slicked back. He looked more like a tech executive than an arms dealer. But the gun in his hand was all business. "Agent Powell," Torres said with a slight accent. Spanish, maybe Portuguese. His voice was smooth and cold. "I've heard about you. My people said you were watching the airport. I told them you were too smart to fall for Claire's little distraction." Isaac slowly stood up, putting himself between Torres and Marcus. His own gun was still in his hand. "Vincent Torres, we finally meet." "Indeed." Torres smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Unfortunately, this meeting will be brief. You're going to step away from Marcus and the case. You're going to let me take both. And then you're going to watch me drive away. That's not happening. Torres's smile widened. You're outnumbered, Agent Powell. As if on cue, two more men emerged from a black sedan, both armed, both pointing their weapons at Isaac. The security guard, still crouched behind a car, looked like he might pass out. Marcus was on the ground, trembling, tears streaming down his face. Vincent, please. You said if I delivered the case, you'd let Jenny go. You promised. I did promise, Torres said casually. He glanced down at the metal case lying on the ground. But then Agent Powell here complicated things. So plans change. Torres raised his gun. Not at Isaac. At Marcus. No. Isaac moved without thinking, stepping directly in front of Marcus, his own weapon trained on Torres. The parking garage went very, very quiet. 3 guns pointed at Isaac. Isaac's gun pointed at Torres. The security guard frozen in fear. Marcus sobbing on the ground. A standoff. Torres chuckled. You'd really take a bullet for him? For a smuggler who was about to deliver a weapon that could kill dozens of people. What's in the case, Torres? Isaac demanded. Torres' smile vanished. His eyes went cold and dead. You want to know? It's a prototype. Military grade. Something that was stolen from a defense contractor 3 months ago. Something that my buyer overseas is willing to pay $3 million for. Something that you're not going to stop me from delivering. Isaac's finger tightened on the trigger. Last chance. Put down your weapons and surrender. Torres laughed. A genuine laugh this time. Or what? You'll shoot me? Maybe you'll get me, Agent Powell. But my men will definitely get you. And then there will be no one to stop us. No one to save Marcus's sister. No one to prevent this weapon from disappearing into the hands of people who will use it to kill innocent civilians. It was the truth. Isaac knew it. 1 man with a gun couldn't stop 3. If this turned into a shootout, people would die. Maybe him. Definitely Marcus. Possibly the security guard. And Torres would get away. Behind Isaac, Marcus whispered, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Jenny, I had to save Jenny. Isaac's mind raced through options. All of them bad. All of them leading to disaster. But then his phone buzzed in his pocket. Just once. A single vibration. Torres noticed. Expecting backup, Agent Powell? I have someone monitoring police frequencies. Your SWAT team just got redirected to a bomb threat at Terminal B. Anonymous tip. Sent 5 minutes ago. His smile returned. My tip? You're alone. Isaac's heart sank. But then Torres made a mistake. He glanced at his watch. Just for a second. Just long enough to check the time. And in that second, Isaac saw something in Torres's eyes. Fear. Not of Isaac. Not of the FBI. Not even of being caught. Fear of being late. You have a deadline. Isaac said suddenly. The buyer. They're waiting. And if you don't deliver the case on time. Torres's face hardened. Shut up. They'll walk away. Isaac continued, understanding flooding through him. This isn't just about money. This is about reputation. You promised them a delivery time, and you're running out of time. Torres's jaw clenched. Isaac pressed harder. How long do you have? 30 minutes? 20? Every second we stand here is a second you're not making the delivery. And if you miss that deadline, your buyer disappears. You lose the $3 million. You lose your reputation. You become the dealer who couldn't deliver. I said, shut up. Torres's hand shook slightly on his gun. The 2 men with him exchanged nervous glances. And Isaac saw his opportunity. Your men are wondering too, Isaac said softly. Wondering if you're going to make it. Wondering if this job is worth dying for. Wondering if they should cut their losses and run. One of the men shifted his weight. Just slightly. But it was enough. Torres noticed. His eyes flicked to his associate. Don't even think about it. But it was too late. Doubt had crept in. Here's what's going to happen, Isaac said, his voice steady and commanding. You're going to put down your weapons. All of you. And you're going to tell me where Marcus's sister is being held. I'll make a phone call to my team and tell them to delay contacting your buyer for just long enough for you to work out a deal with the prosecutor. A reduced sentence in exchange for information about your network. Torres stared at him. The garage was silent except for the distant wail of sirens, real ones getting closer. Or, Isaac continued, we can all start shooting. And maybe you win. Maybe you get the case and you get away. But maybe you don't. Maybe one of my bullets finds you. Maybe SWAT shows up faster than you think. Maybe your buyer gets spooked by the gunfight and calls the whole thing off. That's a lot of maybes, Vincent. Are you a gambling man? The sirens grew louder. Torres's finger tensed on the trigger. And then the metal case started beeping. Everyone's eyes dropped to it. Beep, beep, beep. The beeps were getting faster. Marcus's face went white. What's that sound? Torres's expression changed from confident to horrified in an instant. The case, he whispered. It's not supposed to. That's not possible. Isaac felt ice flood his veins. Torres, what did you just say? The beeping grew faster still. Beep, 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 beep. Torres took a step backward, his gun forgotten, his eyes locked on the case. The weapon, it has a tamper detection system. If it's jostled or dropped or caught in an explosion, Isaac said, remembering the incendiary device Brennan had triggered as a distraction. Torres's face answered the question. The beeping became a solid whine. Run! Torres screamed. And that's when the lights in the parking garage went out, plunging everything into darkness. And in that darkness, Isaac heard the metal case click open. The darkness lasted only 3 seconds. 3 seconds of complete blackness where nobody could see anything, where every breath sounded like thunder, with a whine from a metal case filled the entire parking garage like a scream. Then the emergency lights kicked on. Dim red, casting everything in a hellish glow. Isaac's eyes adjusted instantly. Years of training took over. He scanned the area in one sweep. Torres and his 2 men were running, already 20 feet away, sprinting toward their black sedan. The security guard had disappeared. Probably ran when the lights went out. Smart man. Marcus was still on the ground, frozen in terror, staring at the metal case. And the case itself sat open, its contents now visible in the red emergency lighting. It wasn't a bomb. Not exactly. Inside the foam-lined case was a device about the size of a shoebox. Sleek, black, covered in wires and small LED lights that blinked in a pattern Isaac didn't recognize. A tiny screen on top displayed numbers counting down. 59, 58, 57. What is that? Isaac breathed. Marcus finally found his voice. I don't know. Torres never told me. He just said to deliver it unopened. That's all I knew. Isaac moved closer to the device, his weapon still in hand, but forgotten now. This was bigger than a shootout, bigger than arrests or dealers or smuggling. The device hummed with energy. The air around it felt charged like the moment before lightning strikes. 46, 45, 44. Torres's voice echoed from across the parking garage. You wanted to know what it was, Agent Powell? It's an EMP, electromagnetic pulse. Military prototype. When it goes off, every electronic device within half a mile gets fried. Cars, phones, computers, pacemakers. The entire airport will go dark. Isaac's blood ran cold. Torres, wait. How do we stop it? Torres was at his car now, his door open. He laughed, a manic, terrified sound. You don't. The tamper detection armed it. There's no off switch, no code, nothing. I tried to tell them the safety protocols weren't ready, but they didn't listen. His voice cracked. That's why I was so careful with it. That's why Claire was supposed to hand it off without any problems. The black sedan's engine roared to life. Torres, Isaac shouted. You can't just leave it here. Watch me. Torres screamed back. The tires squealed as the sedan peeled out, racing toward the exit ramp. Isaac turned back to the device. 37, 36, 35. Marcus crawled backward, away from it, his eyes wide with panic. We have to run. We have to get out of here. If this thing goes off, It'll kill people. Isaac snapped. Anyone with a pacemaker. Anyone in surgery with electronic monitoring. Anyone on a plane using electronic navigation. His mind raced through the possibilities, each one worse than the last. And that's not counting the cars that will crash when their electronics die. The chaos. The panic. So, what do we do? Marcus's voice was high and desperate. Isaac stared at the device. He'd had training in explosives. Basic stuff. Enough to identify common bombs and know when to call the experts. But this wasn't common. This was cutting-edge military technology. Probably worth millions. Definitely one of a kind. And he had 30 seconds to figure it out. 29, 28, 27. His phone was useless. If he called for help, by the time anyone arrived with expertise, the device would have already detonated. His gun was useless. His badge was useless. All he had was his brain and 26 seconds. Isaac knelt beside the case and examined the device more carefully. The wires were color-coded. Red, blue, green, yellow, like something from a movie. But he knew better than to just start cutting wires. That worked in Hollywood, not reality. The small screen showed more than just a countdown. There were symbols, technical readouts, numbers and letters that meant nothing to him. Except one. In the corner of the screen, barely visible, was a small indicator. Tilt sensor active. Isaac's mind clicked. Marcus, he said slowly, carefully, when you dropped this case, when I tackled you, did it land hard? Marcus nodded frantically. Yes, it hit the concrete. That's when the beeping started. The tilt sensor, Isaac muttered. He looked at the device more closely. It was resting at an angle inside the foam padding. Tilted maybe 15 degrees to the left. 17, 16, 15. If the tilt sensor got jarred, Isaac thought aloud, and that activated the countdown, then maybe it was insane. It was a guess. It was probably wrong, but it was the only idea he had. Isaac reached into the case with both hands. He could feel heat radiating from the device. The humming grew louder as his fingers touched the smooth metal surface. What are you doing? Marcus whispered. Something very stupid, Isaac answered. He began to lift the device, slowly, carefully, trying to level it, trying to return it to its original position before it got jarred. 11, 10, 9. The device was heavier than it looked. Isaac's hands shook from the weight and the adrenaline. Sweat dripped down his face. Every muscle in his body was tensed. Level it. Just level it. 7, 6. The humming changed pitch. Higher. More intense. Marcus covered his head with his hands. It's going to explode. It's going to. 5, 4. Isaac held the device perfectly level now. His arms burning from the effort, his breath held. His entire world narrowed down to keeping this thing steady. 3. The humming reached a fever pitch. 2. Isaac closed his eyes. 1. Click. The humming stopped. The countdown froze at 1. The LED lights turned from red to green, and a new message appeared on the screen. Stabilized. Safe mode active. Isaac didn't move. He stood there, holding the device, afraid that any movement would restart the countdown. Marcus slowly lowered his hands. Is it over? I don't know. His arms were shaking now. I don't know if I can move it or if that'll set it off again. Footsteps echoed through the parking garage. Multiple sets. Running. Airport police burst onto the scene, weapons drawn, flashlights cutting through the red emergency lighting. Behind them came paramedics, security personnel, and finally, a team in tactical gear with Bomb Squad printed on their vests. FBI. Isaac called out, unable to raise his hands because they were still holding the device. Agent Isaac Powell. I need the Bomb Squad here now. The tactical team rushed forward. Their leader, a woman with sharp eyes and steady hands, assessed the situation in seconds. Sir, I'm going to need you to very carefully explain what you're holding and why you're holding it. Isaac told her, quickly, efficiently, every detail. Her face went pale. An EMP? You stopped an EMP with your bare hands by leveling it. I got lucky, Isaac said. His arms were really shaking now. "Please tell me you can take this from me before I drop it." The bomb squad worked fast. They brought in a special container, lead-lined, reinforced, with its own stabilization system. It took them 4 minutes to carefully transfer the device from Isaac's hands into the container. For minutes that felt like 4 hours. When it was finally done, Isaac's legs gave out. He sat down hard on the concrete, his whole body trembling from the adrenaline crash. Marcus was already being handcuffed by airport police, but he looked relieved. "My sister," he said to Isaac. "Please, you have to find Jenny. Torres has her somewhere. I don't know where, but we'll find her," Isaac promised. "You have my word." The bomb squad leader approached Isaac. "Agent Powell, that was either the bravest or stupidest thing I've ever seen." "Probably both," Isaac admitted. "The device is secure now. We'll transport it to a federal facility for analysis." She paused. "You should know. If your gamble hadn't worked, if leveling it hadn't stopped the countdown, this entire airport would be dark right now. We'd be dealing with crash planes, dead patients, car accidents. Dozens dead, hundreds injured." Isaac nodded slowly. He didn't want to think about that. Didn't want to imagine the alternative. His phone buzzed. A text from his partner. Torres's vehicle spotted heading north on the expressway. Highway patrol in pursuit. "Where are you?" Isaac typed back quickly. "Parking garage. Device secured. Torres is running. He won't get far." But even as he sent the message, something nagged at him. Torres had seemed genuinely terrified when the device activated. He'd run immediately. A man who knew the EMP would fry everything electronic within half a mile. So why did he run in a car? Why didn't he realize his vehicle would die the moment the EMP went off? Unless... Isaac's eyes widened. He grabbed the bomb squad leader's arm. "The device. You said it's secure?" "Yes, in the lead line container." "Why? Can EMP signals penetrate lead?" She shook her head. "No, that's why we use lead. It blocks electromagnetic radiation completely." Isaac's heart started racing again. So if the device were in that container when it went off, the EMP wouldn't escape? Correct. It would be completely contained. Isaac stood up fast, ignoring the protest from his exhausted muscles. He pulled out his phone and called his partner. "Marcus, listen to me carefully. Torres is in a vehicle. Electronic vehicle. If he really thought the EMP was going to go off, why would he?" His partner's voice cut through. "Isaac, you need to hear this. Highway patrol just reported something weird. Torres's car pulled over voluntarily. He's just sitting there on the shoulder, not moving, like he's waiting for something." Ice flooded Isaac's veins. "He's not running," Isaac whispered. "He's waiting for the EMP to go off. He thinks it'll disable every car around him, create massive chaos, and he'll slip away into confusion." "But the device is contained now," his partner said. "He doesn't know that." "Exactly. Which means..." Isaac's mind raced. "He's going to realize something went wrong. And when he does..." His phone buzzed with an incoming call. Unknown number. Isaac answered it. Vincent Torres' voice came through, cold and sharp. "Agent Powell, congratulations. You saved the day. The device didn't go off, which means you somehow disarmed it. It's over, Torres. Highway patrol has you surrounded." "Do they?" Torres chuckled. "Look at your phone. I just sent you a photo." Isaac's phone buzzed. A picture appeared on his screen. A woman, early 20s, tied to a chair, tape over her mouth, terror in her eyes. Marcus's sister. "Jenny, that's a live feed," Torres said calmly, "from a warehouse in Queens. And Jenny has a very special vest on. See it? That's not a fashion statement. That's 20 pounds of C4 explosive. And I have the detonator right here in my hand." Isaac's throat went dry. "Torres, here's what's going to happen. You're going to have your bomb squad friends load that EMP device back into the original case. You're going to bring it to me, alone, and you're going to watch me drive away with it. And if you do all that exactly right, I'll tell you where to find Jenny. She'll be alive, scared but alive. And if I don't, then I press a button, and Marcus's sister becomes a memory. Your choice, Agent Powell. You've got 30 minutes to decide. The clock starts now. The line went dead. Isaac stood in the red emergency lighting of the parking garage, surrounded by police and bomb squad and paramedics, holding a phone with a photo of a terrified woman on the screen. And for the first time in his career, he had absolutely no idea what to do. Isaac stood perfectly still for 5 seconds. 5 seconds to think. 5 seconds to plan. 5 seconds to decide between following protocol and saving a life. Then he moved. "I need that device," he said to the bomb squad leader. She stared at him like he'd lost his mind. Absolutely not. That EMP is federal evidence. It's also incredibly dangerous. We're transporting it to... A woman is going to die if I don't bring it to Torres in 30 minutes. Isaac showed her the photo on his phone. He has her rigged with explosives. He wants the EMP in exchange for her location. The bomb squad leader's face hardened. Then we negotiate. We set up a perimeter. We bring in hostage rescue. We follow procedure. There's no time for procedure. Isaac's voice rose. He forced himself to calm down. Look, I know what you're thinking. This is a trap. Torres is desperate. He'll probably try to kill me and take the device anyway. You're right. But that woman in the photo is innocent. Her only crime was having a brother who got mixed up with the wrong people. Marcus, still in handcuffs nearby, was crying openly now. "Please," he begged. "Please save her. She's all I have. Our parents are dead. It's just us. Please." Airport police officers exchanged uncertain glances. Nobody wanted to make this call. Isaac's phone buzzed. A text from Torres. 29 minutes. Tick-tock, Agent Powell. "I'm going," Isaac said flatly, with or without the device. "But my chances of getting Jenny out alive are a lot better if I have something Torres wants." The bomb squad leader looked at him for a long moment. Then she swore under her breath. "This is insane. You know that, right?" "Completely." She turned to her team. "Prep the device for transport. Secure containment. If this goes wrong, I want on record that I advise against it." "Noted," while the bomb squad said. Isaac pulled out his phone and called his partner. "Marcus, I need everything we have on warehouse locations in Queens, specifically ones connected to Torres or his known associates." "Isaac, what are you doing? You can't seriously be considering." "Just send me the locations. Now." His partner hesitated, then sighed. "Sending them now. There are 7 possible sites. But Isaac, you can't go in alone. Let me mobilize a team. We can have tactical units ready to... Torres will be watching for that. The moment he sees federal vehicles, he'll detonate. I have to go in alone. That's suicide." "Probably." Isaac ended the call. The phone buzzed immediately with a file containing addresses and satellite images of 7 warehouses scattered across Queens. Isaac studied them quickly, memorizing layouts and access points. The bomb squad returned with the metal case, now fitted with additional monitoring equipment. "We've added a GPS tracker," the leader explained. "Completely passive, no electronic signature that Torres could detect. We'll be able to follow you. He'll probably find it and disable it," Isaac said. "Probably, but it's better than nothing." Isaac took the case. It was heavy. The device inside hummed softly, a reminder of how close they'd all come to disaster. Marcus stumbled forward, his handcuffed hands reaching out. "Agent Powell, thank you. Thank you for..." "Don't thank me yet," Isaac interrupted. "If this goes wrong, we both lose someone today." He walked toward the parking garage exit, carrying the case, his weapon holstered but accessible. Airport police moved aside to let him pass. Nobody tried to stop him. He was halfway to his car when his phone rang again. "Change of plans," Torres said. His voice sounded different now. Strained. "Not Queens. Brooklyn. The old shipping yard near the water." "You know it." Isaac's jaw tightened. Torres was changing the location. Smart. It meant any tactical teams heading to Queens would be out of position. "I know it," Isaac lied. He pulled up a map on his phone while walking, found the shipping yard, abandoned for years. dozens of old containers and buildings. A maze. Come alone. Park at the north entrance. Wait for my call. And Agent Powell? Torres paused. I'll know if you're not alone. I have people watching. You bring backup, Jenny dies. You understand? I understand. Good. You have 23 minutes. The line went dead. Isaac reached his car, a black SUV parked on level 1. He placed the case carefully in the passenger seat and started the engine. His phone immediately rang. His partner, Isaac, we intercepted that call. Brooklyn Shipping Yard. We can have units there in 15 minutes if we... No, Isaac said firmly. He's watching. He'll see them coming. So what's your plan? Just walk in there and hope he keeps his word. Isaac pulled out of the parking garage into the bright afternoon sunlight. Traffic was heavy. He'd have to drive fast. My plan is to get Jenny out alive. Everything else is secondary. And if Torres kills you and takes the device anyway? Isaac didn't answer. He ended the call and focused on driving. The Brooklyn Shipping Yard was 40 minutes away in normal traffic. Isaac had 22 minutes. He turned on his lights and siren. Unofficial FBI vehicles didn't have them, but he'd installed them anyway for emergencies, and started weaving through traffic. Cars pulled aside. Horns blared. Isaac ignored them all. His mind raced through scenarios. Torres would have the high ground. Probably snipers. Definitely escape routes. He'd choose a location carefully. Somewhere he could watch Isaac approach from multiple angles. This was a trap. Obviously a trap. But Jenny was real. Her fear was real. And Isaac had made a promise to Marcus. 18 minutes. Isaac's phone buzzed with a text from his partner. At least wear a wire. Let us hear what's happening. Isaac pulled over briefly, retrieved a small wireless microphone from his glove compartment, and clipped it inside his collar. It would broadcast everything to his team. Not much, but something. 15 minutes. The shipping yard appeared ahead. Massive. Abandoned. Chain-link fences topped with barbed wire. Rusted shipping containers stacked like building blocks. Old warehouse structures with broken windows. The perfect place for an ambush. Isaac parked at the north entrance as instructed. Cut the engine. Sat in silence. The metal case sat beside him, humming softly. 12 minutes. His phone rang. Get out of the car, Torres instructed. Bring the case. Walk straight ahead into the shipping yard. There's a path between the containers. Follow it. Where's Jenny? Follow the path. You'll see. Isaac got out, carrying the case in his left hand, keeping his right hand free near his weapon. The shipping yard was eerily quiet. Just a sound of wind whistling through metal containers and the distant cry of seagulls. He walked forward. The path between containers was narrow, barely wide enough for one person. Shadows stretched long in the afternoon sun. Isaac's footsteps echoed off the metal walls. He was completely exposed. If Torres wanted to shoot him, this would be the perfect place. But no shots came. The path opened into a clearing. In the center stood an old shipping container, with its doors open. Inside was darkness. And from that darkness came a muffled sound. Crying. Isaac moved closer, his weapon now drawn, the case still in his other hand. Jenny, he called out. The crying grew louder. Isaac reached the container and looked inside. Jenny was there, exactly as in the photo, tied to a chair, tape over her mouth, terror in her eyes. And yes, a vest covered in wires and blocks of something that looked horribly like C4. But something was wrong. Isaac's trained I caught it immediately. The vest was fake. The wires were real, but they weren't connected to anything. The blocks weren't C4. They were clay. Modeling clay painted gray. This wasn't a bomb. It was a prop. And that meant, drop the weapon, Agent Powell. Isaac spun around. Vincent Torres stood 20 feet away, flanked by his two armed associates. All three had guns pointed at Isaac. But that wasn't what made Isaac's blood run cold. Behind Torres, walking calmly into the clearing, was Claire Peterson, the racist woman from the airport, the one who'd accused Isaac of theft, the one who'd been arrested, except she wasn't in handcuffs anymore. She wasn't under arrest. She was smiling. Surprise! Claire said, her voice completely different from the shrill, panicked tone she'd use at the airport. Calm now. Professional. Did you really think I was just some racist Karen making a scene? That whole performance was designed to get you focused on me while Marcus completed the pickup. Isaac's mind reeled. You were working with Torres the entire time. I'm his partner, Claire corrected. She walked to Torres' side. Equal partner. This whole operation was my design. The EMP pickup, the distraction, even Marcus's sister. Isaac glanced at Jenny, who had stopped crying and was now looking confused and scared. She's Marcus's sister, Torres confirmed. That part was true. But the bomb vest? Theater. We needed you motivated. We needed you to bring the device without calling in an army. The arrest at the airport. Isaac started. Was part of the plan. Claire finished. Your security friend let me walk with a simple phone call. Turns out Torres has people inside airport security, too. I've been free since 5 minutes after you left the terminal. Isaac's weapon was still drawn, but 3 guns were pointed at him. The math was bad. Here's what happens now, Torres said. You put down your gun. You give us the case. And you walk away. Jenny goes free. You go free. Everyone lives. The only thing that changes is we get the EMP and you lose. And if I refuse? Torres' smile vanished. Then we shoot you. Take the case anyway. And Jenny stays tied up in that container until someone finds her. Could be hours. Could be days. Your choice. Isaac looked at Jenny. She was terrified but unharmed. He looked at the case in his hand. The device that could disable an entire city's electronics. He looked at Torres and Claire, both confident they'd already won. And then Isaac smiled. You made one mistake, he said quietly. Torres' eyes narrowed. What mistake? Isaac's smile widened. You assumed I came alone. And that's when the shipping yard exploded with movement as 24 FBI tactical agents emerged from behind containers, from rooftops, from hidden positions all around the clearing. FBI, drop your weapons. Torres' face went white. You brought backup. You. I lied, Isaac said simply. Shocking, I know. The next 30 seconds happened in slow motion. Torres' 2 associates dropped their weapons immediately, hands shooting into the air. They were hired muscle, not soldiers. They knew when a fight was already lost. But Torres himself didn't surrender. His gun stayed pointed at Isaac, his finger tight on the trigger, his eyes wild with desperation. You're lying, Torres screamed. There's nobody there. This is a bluff. You're trying to... A red laser appeared on Torres' chest. Then another, then 5 more. Sniper sights from FBI tactical agents positioned on container tops all around the clearing. Torres' gun hand started shaking. Vincent, drop it. Claire sat quietly beside him. Her own weapon was already on the ground. Her hands were raised. The confident smile was gone, replaced by cold calculation. She was already thinking ahead, already planning her legal defense. It's over. We lost. No. Torres' voice cracked. I need that device. The buyer is waiting. If I don't deliver, they'll what? Isaac asked, his own weapon still trained on Torres. Kill you? Torres, look around. You've got bigger problems right now. FBI agents moved in from all sides, a coordinated wave of tactical gear and weapons. Within seconds, Torres and Claire were surrounded. But Torres still wouldn't drop his gun. The buyer isn't just a buyer, Torres said, and now his voice was different. Scared. Genuinely terrified. They're not the kind of people you say no to. If I don't deliver this device, they'll find me. Doesn't matter if I'm in prison. Doesn't matter if I'm in witness protection. They'll find me and they'll... His hand shook harder. The gun wavered between Isaac and his own head. Isaac saw it happening. Saw the moment Torres decided prison was worse than death. Vincent, don't. Isaac shouted, but he was too late. Torres turned the gun toward himself. 2 shots rang out, not from Torres' gun, from an FBI sniper. Torres dropped like a puppet with cut strings, his weapon flying from his hand. He hit the ground hard, clutching his shoulder where the sniper's bullet had struck. Not fatal. Perfectly placed to disarm without killing. The clearing erupted with movement. FBI agents swarmed in. Torres was cuffed and dragged away, screaming about buyers and death threats. Claire was taken without resistance, silent and calculating. The two associates were already face down on the ground, hands behind their backs. Isaac lowered his weapon and took a long, shaky breath. His partner, Marcus, different Marcus, not the smuggler, appeared at his side. He was a tall black man with graying hair and kind eyes. "You okay?" Isaac nodded slowly. "How long were you here?" "Since before you arrived. We followed you from the airport." Marcus grinned. "You didn't really think we'd let you walk into this alone, did you?" "I told you to stay back." Torres said he was watching. He was bluffing. "We did thermal scans of the entire area before you got here. Torres, Claire, and 2 hired guns. That's it. No spotters. No watchers. He was counting on you being too scared for Jenny to risk bringing backup." Isaac turned to look at Jenny, who was being helped out of the fake bomb vest by a female FBI agent. She was crying with relief now, understanding that she was really safe. Marcus, the other Marcus, her brother. He needs to know she's okay. "Already done. I called the airport police 10 minutes ago. They're bringing him here now." Isaac felt the adrenaline starting to drain from his body, leaving him exhausted and shaky. "The device?" His partner Marcus nodded toward the metal case, now surrounded by bomb squad technicians. "Secure. They're transporting it to the federal facility. Apparently, you're some kind of hero for disarming it with your bare hands." "I got lucky." Lucky and smart are basically the same thing in our line of work. Isaac managed a tired smile. Then something occurred to him. "Wait." Torres said Claire was released from airport security, that someone inside let her go. Marcus's expression darkened. "We're looking into that. If Torres really does have someone inside airport security, we'll find them." A black SUV pulled into the shipping yard. Marcus Brennan, the smuggler, practically fell out of it, still in handcuffs but being guided by 2 airport police officers. When he saw Jenny alive and safe, he broke down completely. "Jenny! Oh, God, Jenny!" The female FBI agent finished removing the fake vest and stepped aside. Jenny ran to her brother, and they collapsed into each other, both sobbing, both holding on like they'd never let go. Isaac watched them for a moment, thought about how this whole thing had started. A racist woman making a false accusation. A desperate man forcing the crime to save his sister. A device that could have killed dozens. An arms dealer willing to let a city burn for profit. And it had all hinged on one moment. One decision. Claire Peterson pointing at him and screaming thief because of the color of his skin. If Isaac had been anyone else, if he'd been a regular passenger instead of an FBI agent, would airport security have believed him? Or would they have searched him, detained him, let the real criminal slip away? The question sat heavy in his chest. Claire was being loaded into an FBI van now, still silent, still calculating. She caught Isaac's eye as the doors closed. There was no apology there, no shame, just cold acknowledgement that she'd been caught. Isaac walked over to where Torres was being treated by paramedics. The shoulder wound wasn't serious. He'd lived to stand trial. "The buyer," Isaac said, kneeling beside Torres. "Who are they?" Torres laughed bitterly through his pain. "You think I'm going to tell you? You think witness protection will save me from them? So testify. Help us bring them down. It's the only way you stay alive." Torres looked at him with dead eyes. "There is no staying alive, Agent Powell. The moment I failed to deliver that device, I was dead. Prison just means dying slower." Isaac stood up. "That's your choice to make." He walked back to his partner Marcus, who was coordinating with the tactical teams. "We done here." "Almost. You'll need to give a full statement. Probably tomorrow. Tonight, go home, sleep, process what happened." Isaac nodded. He was already thinking about the report he'd have to write, the questions he'd have to answer. But right now, all he wanted was to sit down. A junior agent approached nervously. "Agent Powell, there's someone here to see you." Isaac turned. Standing at the edge of the clearing, looking small and uncertain, was a security guard from the airport, the mustached one who'd run when the shooting started. He walked over slowly, his face red with embarrassment. "Agent Powell, I wanted to apologize for running. When the shooting started, I panicked. I'm not trained for that kind of situation, and Isaac held up a hand, stopping him. "You did the right thing. You're security, not tactical. Your job was to protect civilians, not engage armed suspects. No apology needed." The guard looked relieved. "Thank you. And I also want to say about what happened at the gate, with that woman, the way she accused you." He swallowed hard. "I'm ashamed it took seeing your badge to believe you. I should have known from the start that you hadn't done anything wrong. I let her assumptions influence me, and that's not okay." Isaac studied the man's face, saw a genuine remorse there, genuine recognition of his own bias. "The important thing," Isaac said quietly, "is that you recognize it now. Learn from it. The next time someone makes an accusation based on nothing but assumptions and prejudice, you'll question it. You'll look for actual evidence. You'll treat everyone with equal dignity until proven otherwise." The guard nodded firmly. "I will. I promise I will." He shook Isaac's hand and walked away. Isaac's partner Marcus had been watching the exchange. "That was generous of you." He seemed sincere. "Still, after everything that happened today, you had been justified in filing complaint." Isaac shrugged. "People make mistakes. People learn. That's how progress happens. One person at a time." They stood in silence for a moment, watching the FBI teams finish processing the scene. Torres was being loaded into an ambulance, flanked by armed guards. Claire was already gone, on her way to federal holding. The metal case with the EMP device was being carefully secured in a specialized transport vehicle. And Marcus Brennan was still holding his sister, both of them crying, both of them free. "You know what's funny?" Isaac said suddenly. "What?" "If Claire hadn't made that scene at the airport, if she hadn't pointed at me and screamed thief, I might not have been paying attention to her. I might not have noticed her nervous behavior. The phone calls, the meeting with Marcus, the whole operation might have gone off without a hitch." His partner Marcus laughed. "So her racism actually saved the day?" "Her racism exposed her. Big difference." Isaac smiled tiredly. "Hate makes you stupid, makes you sloppy, makes you see enemies where there are none and miss the real threats. That's why it always loses in the end." Deep thoughts for a Thursday afternoon. It's been a long Thursday. Isaac's phone buzzed. A text from his boss. "Heard what happened. Good work. Take tomorrow off. You've earned it." Tomorrow off sounded good. Tomorrow off sounded perfect. But first, there was still one more thing to do. Isaac walked over to where Marcus and Jenny were standing. They both looked up as he approached, their faces still wet with tears. "Marcus," Isaac said formally, "you're still under arrest for smuggling and weapon trafficking. You'll face charges. But I'm going to recommend to the prosecutor that they consider your circumstances, the coercion, the threat to your sister. It won't make the charges disappear, but it might make a difference in sentencing." Marcus nodded, accepting this. "Thank you, Agent Powell, for everything, for saving Jenny, for giving me a chance. Use it wisely." Isaac turned to leave, but Jenny grabbed his arm. "Agent Powell?" Her voice was small and scared. "What that woman said at the airport, about you, the racist things, do they really treat you like that?" Isaac looked at this young woman, barely 22, sheltered, suddenly confronted with the ugly reality of the world. He could lie, could spare her feelings, could say it was rare, an exception, nothing to worry about, but she deserved the truth. "Yes," he said simply. "Sometimes they do. More often than you'd think. Less often than it used to be. But yes. How do you deal with it?" Isaac thought about his answer carefully. "I do my job," he finally said. "I do it well. I prove them wrong every single day. Not because I should have to, I shouldn't, but because it matters. Because every time I show up, every time I succeed, every time I solve a case or save a life, I make it a little bit harder for the next person to make those assumptions. Jenny nodded slowly, processing this. And sometimes, Isaac added with a slight smile, I get to flash my FBI badge and watch their faces go pale. That part never gets old. Jenny laughed despite her tears. Isaac walked away, carrying the weight of the day on his shoulders, but feeling, somehow, a little bit lighter. The sun was setting over Brooklyn, painting the shipping yard in shades of orange and gold. It had been a long day, a dangerous day, a day that had started with a false accusation and ended with save life and capture criminals. And tomorrow, Isaac would do it all over again, because that's what heroes do, especially when they have to prove themselves first.